why in the world would the World Health Organization run Europe's system if they weren't envisioning that global government would be run through the UN and the World Health Organization? I had the occasion to be in Europe in July, and I had prior to that seen this bombshell report that in June of 2023, Europe was implementing the global digital ID in order to buy, sell, and access. Well, I got a video clip of a businessman who was visiting London, and he went into an Aldi's to buy food during his extended stay, and he wasn't able to get in and buy food without a digital ID. So this was in June of 23, coinciding exactly with what the press release said.
So look at this. You're in London, you're on a business trip, you're staying in Greenwich, and you want to buy some food. So you go into the local Aldi's, like this one, and you think, I'm going to go in here and buy some food so that I can feed myself. And then you approach the barrier, and look, you can't even get in the shop without having a QR code to scan here, or to scan here, and then you can go in and buy things. Now this looks to me like the beginning stages of the digital prison that we keep talking about. What do you think?
What do we think? Digital prison.
This is exactly what that press release said was coming to the people of Europe, and our mutual friend Leo Holman sent both of us the story of a fellow who lives in Denmark, and he had said as well, you have to have a digital ID now in Denmark. You can't buy anything online. Every purchase has to be verified by a digital ID. You can't have a phone number anymore without a digital ID. So think of your cell phone. All accounts were canceled and shut down in Denmark through Danish Telecom until you got a digital ID. You couldn't access a bank account now in Denmark. You can't pay your bills in cash. You have to pay all your bills through the bank. You can't even book a doctor's appointment. You can't access your health insurance without a digital ID. Literally overnight, you can't buy a new car or buy or sell property in Denmark. You can't apply to a school or education without a digital ID. You can't get on public transportation. His final comment was, it's becoming a living hell very fast in Denmark. And that's if you want to avoid living with a digital ID. So there was no permission requested. There was no informed consent, Jan. This was just imposed on the people of Europe overnight. No questions, no permission. It is administered by the WHO, the World Health Organization. And so I wondered, because I had to make a pre-scheduled trip to Europe in July. I went, and I saw this when I arrived in Italy. I was in Venice, and I had to use facial recognition. In fact, I was put in like a little glass case. I had to enter it with my passport. There's no permission asked. There's no informed consent. I was told to look into like a mirror, and they did my facial recognition, and I could not get into the country unless they took the facial recognition without my permission. They just did it, and that's how I got into Italy. And then the same happened when I left Italy. I had to have facial recognition, but it also happened I had to speak on a cruise for an event. To even get on the cruise ship, again, they didn't ask permission. You just had to go stand in front of a machine so that facial recognition could happen. And from there, I went to Croatia, Montenegro, Greece, and that was the situation. They weren't as far along in implementation in the former communist countries, but nonetheless, it was still there. So this is operational in Europe.
Yes, thank you.